Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction Double Feature Podcast, podcast number 61. Where else would you bury rock and roll? We're gonna. What do we do here? We talk about movies, don't we? It's been a while. I think we're
It's
gonna
been a
talk about
long while.
movies. It's been. This is my co-host Terry. Say hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry.
How are you? Are we two tired men talking about movies? I feel like that's what's going on because we've both been very busy.
Yeah, it's been 6 months since the last podcast. Like, we have done those reviews in between some of the Australian films and such. But since the actual podcast, I don't think we've done it since last December or something.
Yeah,
So,
it was before Christmas. Not much
yeah,
has happened anyway. So yeah. Anyway, all
not
right.
much in the world of movies in 6 months.
Like there was a Star War, and then I saw Transformers the other day. It's about it, really.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's. Speaking of Star War, there's news in the galaxy far far away. Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street alumni Phil Lord and Chris Miller have left the Han Solo movie for reasons unknown. It's quite late in the day to be stepping down as director. There's quite a and I believe even filming has been done on the Han Solo origin story to star Aaron. Oh, what's his name?
Al, Aaron,
Holden Ehrenreich. Holden Ehrenreich. I don't know
that
if I got
sounds
that
better.
right. Holden Holden Ehrenreich. Yes, Holden Ehrenreich. Amelia Clark is in this.
Woo.
Other people whose names I can't remember. Woody Harrelson is in it as well. Um, and Chris Miller have
Danny
stepped
Glover?
down.
Donald
Really?
Glover, not Danny Glover.
Don- Donald Glover as
Donald
Lando.
Glover.
That's right. Oh, I haven't been paying attention.
I kind of wish Danny Glover was in it.
Do you?
You can't get enough of Danny Glover. He's not too old for that shit.
Yeah, or is he? I don't know. I haven't thought about Danny Glover since I saw 2012, and even then it was only in passing. Um, yes. So to sort of divert back from that tangent, yeah, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who I would thought would be bringing like a great deal of fun to this movie. I was not too excited about the Han Solo movie itself until their names were attached to it. Um, to be replaced by Ron Howard, which I guess is a solid choice, I think. But yeah, it's a big deal in the Star Wars universe. I don't think there's ever since Disney's taken over. I guess this is the biggest uh, crisis, if you will, to happen. Um, I guess there was some rumblings about reshoots of Rogue One, and maybe you didn't like Rogue One, but I guess yeah, this is the biggest shake-up, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I myself, yeah, I was not too excited about a Han Solo film until Lord and Miller and then Alden Ehrenreich were attached. I thought those were really good choices. But now, I mean, given that it's too late to stop, really, I think. I mean, there's a good chunk of production that's already started, and a lot of people would be excited to be working on the Han Solo movie. And I think they should get to finish what they've started, even if not all of them get to do that. So yeah, and I think Ron Howard is not that exciting a director. He's a good choice for this because he's a very safe and competent and experienced person in film, while not being like a huge name of the like Spielberg or someone that would sort of massively overshadow the film itself. So I think he'll develop a solid film. I'm just not. I don't think I'll be too excited. This is probably. I mean, I've seen the midnight screenings for The Force Awakens and Rogue One, and I'll see The Last Jedi at midnight. I'm not so sure if I'm going to rush to see Han Solo that much. I might do. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's the first time I'm like, I'm not so sure. What do you think? I know you like Ron Howard generally. I think.
Uh,
Don't bet me.
Generally, I do, and I agree with you. He is a safe choice because just looking through his resume, he makes very competent movies, and for the most part, they are very well received. Probably his latest one of In the Heart of the well, that wasn't his latest one. He did Inferno. as well. But the one before that, In the Heart of the Sea, I was really looking forward to, and the name of Ron Howard on it helped me like push that hype. But it fell apart for me. It didn't work, and I was left very disappointed by it. And Inferno was just third movie of more detective crap. So I really didn't care about that anyway. But for the most part, he makes very good movies, very safe movies. He's always, and most of the time, a lot of it is Oscar worthy even. But doing a Star Wars, yeah, I really don't care. It doesn't add anything for me. It doesn't make me go, oh, that's better than Lord and Miller. And it's just so weird. They got like they've been filmed. They're actually filming this since February, from what I've read. In production filming, and now it's July, and well, just about July, and now they've decided they've got creative issues. That them in the studio have creative differences, and shouldn't you figure that out before you get the job, or in latest? Not when you're at least halfway through a film. Very strange. But yeah, Ron Howard doing it. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Other
he
than
sort
that.
of he seems excited to be working on Star Wars. He had some very gracious tweets talking about how he always loved Star Wars and was looking forward to working with everyone. So I think he'll be fine. I'm loath to pay too much attention to any sort of anything that is firmly a rumor coming out of movie sets. But I understand that Lord and Miller may have been diverging from the script as written by Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the original Star Wars film, of course. And that's caused some friction. I don't know if that's true. I have absolutely no idea. But potentially that's what's been going on. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we need a Han Solo movie, and I don't think it's going to be as fun. But oh well. Oh well. Do you want to know a fun trivia fact though? That Ron Howard has actually been in a movie with Han Solo because both he and Harrison Ford were in American Graffiti.
Ooh, that's a fun fact. It is. That is true. That is.
It's fun and it's a fact. So don't ever say I don't deliver what I promise.
All right. Well, I think you've been disappointed by your favorite franchise, and now it's time for me to be a little bit disappointed by my favorite franchise, Jurassic World. Hey, you are disappointed, or you just don't care?
No, I'm not. I'm just I'm ambivalent, really, about.
Well, you were hyped. You were hyped with Lord and Miller, and now you're not so hyped with Ron
Yeah, that's
Howard.
true. That's true.
It's
Yeah.
disappointing.
What sad thing has happened to the Jurassic people?
Well, it's a year out from Jurassic World 2. I think it was earlier this week, if I remember that correctly. The 23rd, so 3 days ago. It's 1 year out from the second one, and Jurassic World director, what's his name? Bayoa?
Colin Trevorrow, is it? Oh, J.A.
No. Yeah, J.A. Bayoa. He released the new poster subtitle for it. It's called Jurassic World Kingdom. Before I had my coffee, I just woke up. I saw it. Went, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm very excited. Down the bottom poster it says "Life finds a way." Yeah, love this nostalgia. We gave them back. Love it. Coffee kicked in. It was Fallen Kingdom. That sounds a lot like The Lost World. Could they pick a title that is so close to the original sequel? Why? I don't understand. And I don't know if I like that title. Granted, I don't know anything about the movie. The Kingdom could fall. I don't know. But I don't think I like the subtitle here of Fallen Kingdom. What about you, Tim? I know you really don't care about do you care about its kingdom falling?
Not really. I guess unless there's a dinosaur king. Is there possibly a dinosaur king? I guess Tyrannosaurus Rex means king lizard, does it? No, I made that up.
It does. Is king, and yeah, terrifying lizard. So.
Oh, so there's a lizard king. Is it Jim Morrison? Is that what's happening? I don't
Jim
know.
Morrison.
That's a whole thing. Yeah. It to me. I mean, synonyms aside, is a fairly generic thing. I didn't know there were kingdoms in Jurassic Park. I thought it took place firmly in a world with representative democracies were much more common than feudal aristocracies. So I don't know what the kingdom in question is. I don't really care. Yeah,
Yeah. I was. It just feels like they've flicked through the thesaurus to find what else could we use for Lost World. But besides that, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to enjoy this as long as they keep it off the island. As long as we don't have another 2-hour movie of them running away from dinosaurs on an island. Bring them into the real world. Put a few more stakes. Well, there's 4 movies about people trapped on an island dinosaurs is enough. Let's get the 5th one
where they're not
actually
on an
doing
island
something
any
different.
good, though? I mean, is the Lost World is weak, really?
The Lost World, I didn't mind the Lost World, and the bit I didn't like in it was when they went to San Diego, because it didn't feel like the same movie. It kind of just fell apart and felt like a different movie altogether.
Yeah, it's super weird. You see a Tyrannosaurus race a bus. It's quite strange.
Yeah. And then they go in, the bus goes through the movie rental place. What do they call them? Blockbuster. They go through that. Yeah, they go through Blockbuster's window and right in front of the big poster for Speed. It's very funny.
Oh, quality illusions there, cinematic referencing going on there.
That's right.
Really the work of a genius. My God.
Well, so yes, so 4 is disappointed. You're disappointed by Star Wars. Oh, what year is this? We should be very old men, very old tired men who just don't like what they're doing to our original movies. What have they done? Stop changing them. Ah, yes.
This didn't happen when men wore hats. Anyway. Right. What's next? Trailers. We got a trailer. We got a trailer for Black Panther, who you may remember as a pretty badass character in Captain America: Civil War, played by Chadwick Boseman. Am I getting this wrong? This is right.
No, that's all correct.
Oh, cool. We've got a trailer for the standalone Black Panther movie starring Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan and a whole host of other people. I want to say, Lupita Nyong'o? Nice. Ooh, Daniel Kaluuya? Ooh, Forrest Whitaker, Andy Serkis. Oh, this is an exciting group of people. Having said that, I had a bit of an issue with the trailer and potentially with the very premise of Black Panther. And the trailer itself, I thought, was very stylish. It's got some cool. Having watched it again just recently because we had to do a podcast about it. It is quite stylish. I quite like the music, which is quite different to the usual kind of bland orchestral stuff that happens in superhero movies. The design is really good. There's some cool stuff, but if you're not aware, Black Panther is apparently so he's a character, a man called T'Challa, who is the king of Wakanda, which is a fictional African country that it's also a techno paradise, and that's not a real thing. So I don't really care. There's no techno paradises in Africa. Well, I mean, surely, yes. There's quite. I mean, this isn't. Come and see the new and glittering spires of Addis Ababa. It's quite clearly they've got flying cars. It's like Tomorrowland here. It's not like a realistic representation of anything that's actually in Africa or the world. So I just don't care about that really. It's when the rest like and yeah, I don't know. I'm just not that excited. What did you think about Black Panther?
I think that I see where you're coming from, but they address this. They address it by saying when Andy Serkis, what's his name, character, Ulysses, he says, explorers searched for this. They called it El Dorado. Everyone thought it was in South America, but it's actually in Africa. So when they kind of link it to that mythology, that mythical place, and like this city of gold that's buried in these uncharted areas of the world, I think it works. It's no different from them finding Atlantis or something. I think it works. It does work, and I'm excited for it because Chadwick Boseman actually held his own very well in the in Civil War, where he had all these other well-known established characters around him, and I thought he made a grand entrance in that. I think he's going to blow it out of the water in his solo film here. I can't wait to see a bit more of Andy Serkis. He's my man. And yeah, so I find it strange that you say I can't believe in this magical place because it doesn't exist, but your favorite movie is Star Wars. So that doesn't exist either, but you're excited by that.
But they do kind of, in Star Wars, they kind of lead with it. Like the first thing they tell you is it's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And so you're like, right, I know what's going on here. That's cool. I've kind of, I mean, if you're not on board with that, I mean, it tells you pretty quickly that this isn't the movie for you. And maybe if you can walk out the first 15 minutes and get your ticket back, your money back. Avengers typically has taken place in sort of something vaguely analogous to the real world. I mean, Avengers took place in, well, the MCU has taken place. Most of it takes place in New York, or parts of Arizona, or like, admittedly, some fictional countries. What is the name of the country? We just discussed this, and we got it wrong. And it was.
Sokovia?
Sokovia. Yeah, it's not a real place, but it's at least kind of analogous to some part of Eastern Europe, even if it's kind of like a pop cultural understanding, and it does kind of reach the limit of made up place in a nominally kind of attempting to be grounded film. For some level of grounded, whereas African techno utopia got nothing to do with anything. I found it quite odd, actually, that they bothered to have that exposition that you mentioned, that it's like El Dorado.
They actually say it is.
Yeah, but
not like it is El Dorado.
What has that got to do with anything? Like, I find it odd that they're like, what's the one piece of information we have to give the audience? Let's specify the continent it's on.
I think they give you that so you don't go, well, how come no one's found it with all today's like satellites in the air and drones and whatnot? Why haven't we found this before? And I think that's how they can cover it up. It's mythical. They've got weird invisible force shields around it or something. Yeah, but it's strange that it is like that. And he says, what's his face says, Ulysses says he's the only one that's ever got out alive. But the US government in the MCU has vibranium. And apparently this is the only place they've been able to get vibranium. So I think, is he just misinformed? Did he just not know that the US government got some metal out of there earlier that decade?
I mean, they could have just maybe I mean, the metal isn't a someone to get out. It is worth noting as well that the vibranium is in the form of Captain America's shield, which is round and therefore can roll. So maybe it just rolled out of Wakanda. Makes about as much sense as anything.
I suppose, because they would have had to shape it. But what are they using to shape it if it's the strongest metal? Would diamond cutters being able to do it? Like diamond things? What are they called? Diamond
Well,
tip drills and whatnot?
yeah, I mean, if you've got a lot of them, it'll wear it out eventually. But yeah, I don't know. I think Rolling Shield makes far more sense than whatever was happening in Age of Ultron. Don't know what that movie was about. It's kind of amazing to see Andy Serkis as Andy Serkis and not in a costume, because I didn't even know he had a name. I was just like, oh, it's Andy Serkis. I assumed Andy Serkis was a South African mercenary in real life. It just made sense to me. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's sort of it's not for me. This movie the trailer so far it looks kind of fun, but it's not really suspending disbelief in the way that I kind of want it to. I want a cool African superhero, and this is just too far removed from what that should be to really work for me.
All right. Going off what you've said, can we talk about how Marvel have now gone, hey, Guardians of the Galaxy is doing really well, so let's pump our movies and trailers full of Guardians-looking stuff. So you got like Thor 2, which looks very Guardians, the trailer for it, just like with the music in it and the colors and everything. And it's kind of set in more that world. Thor 2. It is set in outer space. It's set in with what's his face, Jeff Goldblum with purple eyeliner. That's kind of fair enough, but that still has a very Guardians feel. And the entrance to this movie with the flying cars and what have you in the city, and that also has such a Guardians feel to it for me.
I think it's. I think there's a lot of times when people make these statements that something feels like a specific thing, and it's just kind of colorful, and that's what I'm in favor of. I don't think I think this is different to superhero convention in the same way that Guardians is different to superhero convention at the moment, which is it's got something that isn't a big orchestral score, and it's got some cool, colorful, some color in a lot of the design. In addition to that, I mean, I think it's not so much that it's like Guardians, that it's different in the same way from a sad, stubbly Batman being sad in the rain. I think if you look at this poster for Black Panther that I'm looking at, it's a very serious man on a cool pointy throne. It doesn't feel like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. It's kind of got some similar visual elements, but everyone looks like a badass here, much more than a bunch of lovable goofs, which I like. I like it in this particular case. I think this is solid. So, but I don't think doesn't feel too Guardians-y to me. It just seems like the things that are different from the vast grey majority of superhero films are few and far between, but becoming more prevalent, which is good because I like colors. I like colors in things.
All right, because it feels like, wow, Guardians is like our biggest success. Some people might even say more so than Avengers, as the two have been very well received. Like the sequel wasn't received well by us, but Avengers 2 wasn't well received across the board. But the two Guardians have been. So it just feels like they're kind of pushing that sort of image, if you will. And it's like, are they trying to push that to try and get more people interested? Is it a marketing ploy? Because I don't think it's going to be anything like Guardians once we go in. Same as Thor. I don't think it's going to be anything like Guardians when we go in. But the marketing kind of feels a little bit to me anyway.
Thor's going to be great. Thor's going to have jokes. It's going to be like What We Do in the Shadows, but with swords and face paint. It's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, your man over there did that one, didn't he?
Taika Waititi, famed New Zealand director of Boy and What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the
Wilder
Wilder People,
people.
has made Thor 3, and it looks really, really fun and has some really
Hmm.
good haircuts.
I'm excited for Kate Blanchett. Just saying.
Yeah, she's in space. It's exciting.
With black hair.
Yeah, it's like black metal. It's amazing. All right.
Mm.
Do we want to talk about a movie we've seen?
Ah, yeah, we can. Let's do it
Okay,
while we're here.
let's do it quickly because my battery's running out on my laptop. But let's get into it.
Uh-oh.
We both watched Lawrence of Arabia. It's 4 hours long and it's totally worth it. I thought this movie was really, really good. I'd seen it previously myself a long, long time ago before I really got into movies. Terry just saw it recently, didn't you?
I did. I saw it on Netflix. I thought, well, it's a nice Sunday afternoon. I love these classic movies on a Sunday afternoon. I'll chuck it on. I had no idea what it was about. Um, and then I looked at the time and it said it was 4 hours long. I went, holy crap. um,
It's 3 hours 47. Which, having said that, if you fast forward through like the 5 minutes of black screen with just the
yes.
score, that's 3 minutes 42, and then 3 hours 42, and then I think there's like how much intermission is there?
It
Like
was
two
probably,
minutes.
it wasn't that long. I had time to make a cup of coffee.
Another. So what's that?
So,
Five.
say
So there you
five.
go. So it's 3 hours 37, which is pretty reasonable, really.
Mm.
I think that's fair to say. So yeah, it's long. In what takes up that running time is the story of T. Lawrence, which had Thomas Edward Lawrence, who was a British Army officer in the First World War, fighting with the Arab uprising against the Turks in what it was then, and well, politically it's complex, of course, because this is the Middle East. But I guess it was the beginning, I think, of the modern incarnation of Middle Eastern politics. I think was very much stemmed from these issues. I um, believe that's how that works. And it's sort of the story of this one sort of very intense and so, they say he's egotistical in the movie, but I don't know if that's even the right word. Very absorbed and challenged man, played by Peter O'Toole, and he's amazing. Who goes to help these Arabs. Uh, the certain Arabs played by I think Anthony Quinn and Alec Guinness and Omar Sharif in their fight against the Turks, and promising them independence, which the greater majority, the political machine that was the British Empire, was not so much in favour of. So that's something, and it's sort of you see him sort of adopt the ways of these people. I don't know how accurately this is portrayed, particularly, as opposed to the society that he's from, which is, of course, Britain, in gentleman's Britain in 1918. Yeah, it's really, really fascinating. It's amazingly shot. It's, the running time is worth it, which I found amazing. I was kind of looking at it, sort of trying to pick shots that could have been edited down to just make it shorter. Because I think if this was made now, would it be 2.5 hours tops, and that would be considered an epic, and someone would somehow manage to get most of it across. But I don't see it's all filler. No, hang on, it's all killer. It's no filler. That's the way that goes. It's all there for a reason. Unlike I like Space Odyssey, but there's moments in that when we're sort of beyond Jupiter and the infinite, where I'm like, okay, I get the point of this. Kind of good, Kubrick. We can move on, and you sort of just have to sit through some stuff. That's not the case here. It's all good. It's all engaging. Everything has a purpose. Performances are fantastic. There's no women, but apart from that, it's real good, and it's really interesting. It's kind of this, to me, it seemed like it was this sort of transitional take in the '60s that began, I think, potentially even with Bridge Over the River Kwai, which was also by David Lean, film from David Lean. This sort of questioning of, I guess, the convention of military heroism, and it was a bit more complex. It's based around this amazing person, yeah, it comes at an interesting time as well after just after this, not too long after the Suez Crisis, which was great, great disaster for Britain, political disaster for Britain. Yeah, so I thought I think it's an interesting movie. I think it's definitely a movie you should see if you've got the time. What did you like about Lawrence of Arabia?
Oh, so much. Yeah, I was a bit taken back by the long run time, and I did think that there was something wrong with my TV for the first 5 minutes because it was a black screen. Um, but
Yes, so did I. I was like, "What? Oh no, what's going on here?"
I'm like, oh, they fooled me. Damn 1960s. They always get me. It's so good that there is such epic shots in this. The cinematography is beautiful, and the colors that come out in the desert, the oranges and the yellows and all that, and the wide shots, are just absolutely beautiful. And you can tell they're all real. You can tell it was shot there, that it's not like an effect. It's not like now where they probably might just throw a green screen up and then do it. You can feel it all, and that's what I love. It was great, and his character, you just get you feel that he's got that. Yeah, you're right. Egotist isn't the right word, but he does seem to have tickets on himself in some degrees at the start. Um, and you just see every time he comes back to base camp with the Brit army and reports into the colonel, you see him breaking down further and further, and his mentality's changing. And that's what I really love, because every time he comes back there, something changes about him, and then the story progresses a bit further that way. And then he gets a lot more comfortable with killing for the greater good and all that. You can tell he wasn't like that at the start, and he likes it a bit, and then he starts to feel like he likes it too much. His character is just so engaging, and you just don't want to look away. You just want to know what happens. I'm very excited by this movie. I love this movie. It won seven Oscars, and I saw it was up against The Killing Mockingbird, which is another one of my favorites. And I can understand why Killing Mockingbird lost now, because this won Best Picture for it. Yeah, everything, even the musical score, because it's got that iconic score, which I'm failing to think of in my head at the moment. But it does have that. Yeah, and you know it straight away.
Yeah. It's sort of in your head from so many pop cultural things.
Yeah. So you know the score, and then when it starts up, it's all put in context, and it fits. And there is one negative I have about this film.
Ooh.
And it's the start. I do not like how they open with his funeral, and then they backtrack and tell you what happened, what was in his life. I don't like knowing at the start that he's already dead. Like, it shows you how he dies in the motorcycle accident, and it's not in the war. So I kind of felt like they spoiled it. Like, I got spoilers. Hey, hang on here. You never said spoilers at the start. So that's my only gripe with it, is I would have rather them started at the start, and then when they got to the end of the story, then faded to black, and then come in with him flying over the hill on his motorbike. I think I would have rathered it that way.
I think it kind of it does very well to establish that the movie is going to be about this man and who he was. It's not kind of the story is of this. It's not going to be like the story of the great hero of the Arab resistance, and he was a British man, and oh my God, wasn't he brilliant? Blah 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 blah. It's sort of, this is a character study of a man who died in a particularly resonant fashion.
Uneventful.
He was going very fast on his brush superior, and he was, even to the end, like, he died trying to reach some unattainable sort of plateau of something, of speed in this case, and that kind of seems to be his life. He was always trying to reach for something more, and eventually it killed him. And then we get sort of like, it is kind of, I guess, a hackneyed device. Then we kind of get all the people talking at his funeral, sort of
What an
kind
ass.
of explain the character. But even that's done quite deftly, to be honest. But it does kind of establish that this is, this is going to be a movie about a complex human, and that's the point of the movie. I think it does that quite well. I think it does it.
I did like that bit. I did like going in, like, at the funeral, and they're saying, "Oh, he's getting this great funeral here. He's done great for his country." What was he like? Well, he's a bit of a dick. I did like that, and like kind of getting teased with his character from that bit, and then seeing him fleshed out. I did like that bit, but yeah, it just, I wasn't comfortable with knowing that, well, that he died from that. And then I started looking at this. I didn't realize it was a biography until about halfway through. I started looking this up, and I went, "Oh my god, this guy's real."
That might have helped, because yeah, and I think if you were, I mean, he's a fairly well-known person. Like, he was known before this movie came out, as I think there'd been several attempts to make a movie. He'd written a book called The Seven Pillars of Wisdom, that's his autobiography. So I guess, yeah, people would have gone in with you could have expected people to go in with a reasonable amount of knowledge, so you may as well address straight up. I mean, it's probably not spoiling anything really that he didn't die during the war. I think, yeah, for the audience that were seeing it at the time, and I don't think it probably was that big a deal.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, I had no idea what it was about, and then I saw that rule. I don't like knowing that. But yeah, I see where you're coming from with, well, something happened to someone today, and I've, like, let's say David Bowie, they started with his death. Well, fair enough, I already know he's dead.
Yeah.
I know that bit.
Concept,
yeah.
Right.
Do you want to hear my fun fact, since you got to have one?
I do.
The neurosurgeon who was doctoring Lawrence after his motorcycle accident went on, and he did his studies and stuff, and went on and did his research, and led to the thing about wearing crash helmets on motorcycles, because they
he was the guy
cause death and concussions and stuff.
Huh. Well, there you go.
That's my fun fact.
Something good came of this 4 hours of someone's life. That's good. All right. Is there anything more to say? Because I'm running out of battery and I don't think I can say anymore.
Oh,
Was that no? There's also interference, so I'm not quite sure what you just said.
Yeah, well, let's go.
Okay, cool. All right, let's wrap it up. If you want to read our main blog, where we post pretty much everything, you can find that at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sfdfmoviereviews. You can find us on Twitter at sfdfmoviereview singular. If you just want to listen to the podcast, we're at soundcloud.com/sfdf. If you want to email us, you can get us at in space no one can eat ice cream at gmail.com. And if you want to find links to all these things plus whatever else I've forgotten to say because I'm running out of battery, you can find them links down the right side of the main blog, which as well as links to other good stuff, which again is sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. Okay, so that's about it from us. Do you want to say goodbye, Terry?
No, say goodbye, Terry.
Okay, bye everybody. We'll see you at some indeterminate point in the future. Bye.